Hi everyone, welcome to Nursing 546. We are very excited to have you in class, and because we want to have as much time as possible to hear from our guest lecturer, Elizabeth Hawkins, I wanted to get some housekeeping things out of the way and just review Blackboard. I will have an announcement that goes out that will indicate I will be in room 2271 about 1:30 before class, so that if anyone is interested or has any questions, they can feel free to come and we can talk about whatever might need to be discussed. Elizabeth will start at 2 and then we will go from there. So this is the view that you will see from when you log into Blackboard. It has an instructor information section. It has announcements. One thing that I want to bring attention to, there was a typo here in the time of our class. I believe it said 2:45. Class starts at 2 o'clock. It's supposed to go from 2 to 4:45, and I think I may have taken out the 4 and it all merged together, but I just want to clarify that. I've also made a post about an opportunity that you could receive 10 clinical hours to put towards MediTracks. UK Med School offers an interprofessional activity with NP students, PT students, med students, and social workers, where you would come together and learn more about each other's professions and have activity together. This announcement for some reason is not showing when it is. It's going to be on February the 25th from 12 to 5 Central Time, and I will correct that. The best place to start in our course is here in the Start Here category, and I'm not going to go over each of the items that I have uploaded here, but be sure and review the spring syllabus. It has the requirements of the class, the point distribution of how your grade will be calculated, etc. I've already sent this out as an email, but just to bring to your attention, I'm asking you to get an additional pocket guide for the class. It is the Bright Futures pocket guide for the guidelines of care for infants, children, and adolescents, and I think it's about $10 or $11 on Amazon, and I think it will be a definite benefit to you in class and during your clinical time. So please make arrangements to get that. Our weekly schedule is here as a download, and then also as I've put it into Blackboard. I'm more color oriented, and so this is why we have color, but our first class will be on the 19th, Wednesday, from 2 to 4:45. It has a list of the chapters, the topics and the chapters that need to be read, and then what is required for each week. Assignments, and we'll go over those as we move along in this video. Our first exam is going to be during week 4, and exams for this course, exams 1, 2, and 3, will open at 8 a.m. on a Monday and will be open through Sunday at 11:59. The final, which is not a cumulative exam, but exam number 4, has different days due to the timing of how it falls. But be sure and review these if it's something, if you're a planner person, a calendar person, I encourage you to get these dates on your planner so that you are familiar with what the requirements will be. Spring break at this time is going to be the week of March 14th. The next section is the meat and potatoes of our class, is the weekly topics. And as you see, I only have the first 4 weeks opened. I'm still doing a little tweaking of some resources that are being involved, and I don't want to overwhelm you, but if you come and click on each week, then that's going to open up and is going to give us more information about what you will find in this class. These are the PowerPoints that Elizabeth will use for class on Wednesday. These are the Unit 1 and Unit 2 PowerPoints that follow along with the chapter. I encourage you to either save these, print these, however is the best way that you study, and use these as you are working through your readings to review, to write notes, etc. These are some other resources that will be used during our first class. The developmental milestones PDF, the recommendations of preventative care. So be sure and review these. Lots of different resources that can be used in pediatrics. Each week will have its own assignment or readings, I should say, that will go along with it. So be sure and explore that section. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. In the class, each of you will be doing a case study, and I have the case study schedule here, and you were assigned to a particular chapter very arbitrarily. I started at the top and the bottom of the list of students that are assigned to the class and filled in accordingly. So this is the case study presenter schedule, and I will explain that further. So as a case study presenter, you are going to be discussing a particular chapter. You are able to pick out a topic that you like about that particular chapter and either create a, hold on here, let me pull this over, create a patient that you think would be pertinent to this topic, or that you've found from the literature, or also it could be someone that you may have seen in your clinical setting. So for those that are in that first initial period, this is likely going to be a patient that you encounter from the literature. Okay, hold on, let me get this up. So the presenter will make an initial presentation, which will include pertinent demographics, the chief complaint, and the HBI that will include the 7 key attributes. And the presenter needs to make that discussion board available by 8 a.m. on the first day of the discussion board. And so we will look at the timeline of how these discussion boards are going to be available. The presenter can start working on this information at any given time, and then she will have from the case study will really open on Sunday morning so that he or she can post their initial presentation at that time, but it needs to be available by 8 a.m. of Monday morning of the case study week. The responders will have from 8 a.m. that Monday morning until 11:59 p.m. that Saturday night of the case study week to make their post. And in their post, they are going to be including one history question that's not repeating from someone else, and you only have to respond to one case study. So if I make a case study, say on type 1 diabetes, and another student makes a case study on bronchitis, and another student makes a case study on sickle cell, I can choose whether I like bronchitis, type 1 diabetes, or sickle cell, and I'm going to post one history question. And if other people have posted that in the discussion board, I cannot repeat any of those questions and explain why this question is important in the workup for the initial presentation that the presenter made. I'm going to list the physical exam that I would do on the patient and why. So let's pull in the bronchitis. So on that bronchitis, of course, you're going to get vital signs. You want to do a respiratory assessment. You want to listen to heart and lungs. You want to make sure that they're not running a fever, that they're eating. So any list of a physical exam that's important to what the initial presentation is needs to be included, and why it's included. If you wanted to run testing, so let's go back to that sickle cell. With that diagnosis, then there's going to be specific tests that you're going to want to run for to assess for the sickle cell. So those need to be included and why. And then you're going to post 3 differential diagnoses that you think might be associated with what the presenter has the case type the presenter has presented. And then after Saturday night at 11:59 until Monday night at 11:59, the presenter is going to take the information that you have posed, and they're going to make a final presentation that's going to include the history questions that were asked, what physical exam they did, what diagnostic tests were used to work up this patient, whether it's in theory or an actual patient, the differential diagnoses, the rule in and rule out that we do in the SOAP note rubric, what the actual diagnosis is, what their management plan would be, and then the pathophysiology and the epidemiology based on what the diagnosis is. This is a breakdown of the points for the presenter and then the breakdown for the responder. You are only to respond to one case study per week that a case study is due, and during that week the case study presenter will also respond to another case study. So the week that you are a presenter, you're going to make your initial presentation and your big presentation, and then you're also going to be a responder so that you can maximize points that will be used towards your final grade. I know that sounds a little confusing, but I think if you look at it on paper, it'll be clearer, and if you're not clear on what the expectations are, by all means reach out to me. Another visual is if you go to discussions, and hold on here, they're not open for you yet because these are timed out, but let me show you from my perspective how I have it set up for you under discussions. So when you do see discussions, you will see that on case study 1, so it's going to open on that Sunday, and Mackenzie and Sarah, Bailey and Musa are going to be the presenters for that week. That initial post is going to be due by Monday morning at 8 a.m. on January the 31st. But this is not what you're going to see, but it will be opened for the presenter on Sunday so that they will have 36 hours that they can upload that post should they have to work on Monday morning, should they have to go to school. Don't think you have to be there at 8 a.m. to get something posted. You will have from Sunday until Monday at 8 a.m. And as a presenter, this is something that you can be working on ahead of time and so you can have that initial post that is available for your case study. Responders will have from after the initial post, which will be Monday at 8 a.m. at on the 31st through Saturday, which is the 5th at I'm just double checking my calendar. Yes, Saturday, February the 5th at midnight, and then the presenter will have after midnight through Monday night at on the 7th to get the post in. We'll get all the logistics of it figured out. Don't worry about that. But just so that you're aware and just so that you can start working on it. All right, back to content. Also, as part of the course, you are going to be writing a community program assessment paper, and this is a paper where you're going to choose a project of a community program that's beneficial to children. And so I have made an example here, and one that I put, and this is, you need to make your choose what you would like by, I think I put the 14th of February, but as an example, I put First Steps of Bowling Green, which is a program that benefits children in our community, and then you're going to write a paper based on that topic. And the rubric is here. This is the APA component of it. This is the rubric that is associated with it. And let's look at this real quickly. Let me pull it over onto the other screen. APA, of course, is important. You are going to write to these particular topics in your paper. So you'll have an introductory paragraph, and give a brief overview of why you've chosen this program. You're going to discuss who the stakeholders are in the program, who is served or affected by the program, describe the program, tell more about the need of the community or how the program is going to meet that need, what the expected effects are, and the activities to meet that program. If you set your paper up as this rubric is and hit all of those points, you shouldn't have any problems getting close to all of those points or all of those points. So just be sure to follow the rubric when you write this paper. So the topic is due on the 15th, the paper will be due on April the 18th. And then your discussion boards, as you will see, are here, but those discussion boards are linked into Blackboard. So be sure and review all of this content. If you have questions, reach out, write them down. We can discuss them before class on Wednesday. And I'm excited to have you in class. Elizabeth and I are very excited because in essence, the last 2 years, we had to convert to Zoom. And she has so much knowledge of pediatric care. She is so energetic. She is going to present in very practical terms. She's got great pearls. She will offer scenarios, and it makes learning very fun for pediatric patients. So we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Have a great weekend.